If there's one thing more terrifying than a cold-blooded killer, it's a killer with a smile. Todd Alquist doesn't enter Breaking Bad with a bang. He's not a high-level kingpin, a drug enforcer, or even a career criminal at first glance. But from the very beginning, there's something slightly off about him. Not in what he does, but in what he doesn't do. He never complains, never questions. Stares at Walter White with something that looks like admiration, or maybe obsession. In a world filled with violent egos and desperate criminals, Todd's calm presence feels refreshing. That is, until you realize it's not calmness, it's emptiness. Todd's politeness is not kindness, it's a mask, the most effective kind. He speaks with a soft voice, carries himself with awkward innocence, and smiles like someone who means no harm. But behind that friendly exterior is one of the most dangerous personalities in criminal psychology, the covert, effectively flat psychopath. He doesn't get angry, he doesn't act out, he doesn't even raise his voice, but he will kill a child without flinching and then offer you pizza afterwards. This is not the type of villain who craves control like Gus Fring or lashes out in rage like Tuco Salamanca. Todd doesn't need dominance. He doesn't even appear to enjoy violence, and that's what makes him so disturbing. His evil isn't personal, it's procedural, clinical, sometimes even cheerful. Todd is a reminder that the most horrifying people aren't the ones who look like monsters, it's the ones who don't. Todd Alquist's true introduction to the criminal world began with a job. Not a hit, not a robbery, just pest control. Mike Ehrmantraut hires Todd and his crew from Vamonos Pest to quietly help Walter White and Jesse Pinkman cook meth inside unsuspecting homes. The plan is simple: tent the houses under the guise of fumigation, bring the mobile lab, and cook interrupted.
Time to time, you're gonna see these two. Now, you need a name for them? You call them yes, sir, and no, sir.
Todd is told to keep quiet, stay out of the way, and never ask questions. Most employees would take that as a cue to stay in their lane, but not Todd. Instead, he volunteers information. Before the first cook even begins, he calmly lets Walt and Jesse know that there's a hidden nanny cam in the house.
Sir, there's a nanny cam in the living room clock. I disabled it, I just thought you should know.
What's your name?
Todd, sir.
He wasn't asked to look, he just did. Not because he was being helpful, but because he wanted to prove his value. From that moment on, it becomes clear Todd is not just another background extra in the criminal enterprise. He's watching, learning, waiting for his moment, and when that moment comes, he grabs it without hesitation. That moment arrives during the infamous train heist.
No one, other than us, can ever know that this robbery went down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walter, Jesse, and Todd plan a high-stakes operation to siphon methamphetamine from a moving freight train without anyone noticing. It's a daring, intricate plan. Every detail matters. The crew executes it perfectly until a young boy named Drew Sharp unexpectedly rides up on his dirt bike and witnesses the aftermath. The entire scene freezes. Walt and Jesse stare in horror. The kid says nothing, just watches. And Todd draws his pistol and shoots him in the chest.
No! No! No!
No warning, no questions, no emotion. The moment is one of the most shocking in the series. Not because of what Todd did, but because of how he did it. He doesn't yell, he doesn't panic, he doesn't even blink. The child drops to the ground, and Todd holsters his weapon like it was just another chore. This is where Todd's psychological profile begins to come into focus. This isn't an act of passion or rage. It's what psychologists call instrumental aggression. Violence used not out of anger, but as a tool to achieve an objective. The objective in this case, silence, secrecy, cleanup. When confronted later by Walt and Jesse, Todd offers a calm explanation.
I was looking out for the team. I didn't want to kill him. You gotta believe that.
He doesn't deflect responsibility. In fact, he almost takes pride in it. It was him or us, and I chose us, and I will do it again. There's no guilt, only justification. But what's more disturbing than the act itself is what Todd keeps from the crime scene. A glass jar containing the boy's pet tarantula. He brings it home, he keeps it like a souvenir. He doesn't talk about it, he doesn't show it off, he just has it. In criminal psychology, this is known as trophy-keeping behavior, an act often associated with psychopathic killers. It's not about nostalgia, it's about control, possession, a quiet personal reminder of dominance. Todd doesn't need to relive the act, he just wants to own something from it. After this, Jesse and Mike both want Todd gone, but Walt keeps him around, and for Todd, that's all the validation he needs. Because Todd isn't loyal to a cause. He's not even loyal to money. He's loyal to the people he admires. And once Walt gives him the nod of approval, Todd becomes a disciple.
What I do need is your full effort and attention.
This is complicated. It's gonna take me a few more times to get a grasp on it.
All that's left, I guess, is talk money.
We can talk money once I get this right.
He begins assisting Walt full-time, learns how to cook meth, studies Walt's methods with intensity, writes down every instruction, and when offered money, he turns it down until he's certain he's done the job right. This is where we see one of the most dangerous traits in Todd's psychology, his need for approval at all costs. He doesn't question the ethics of what he's doing. He doesn't ask why things are done. He simply does what he's told, and he does it well. It's this eagerness, this willingness to suppress his own conscience that allows Todd to climb higher in the criminal world, but it's also what makes him uniquely terrifying. Because a man who kills for money has a price, but a man who kills for approval, he's priceless and unstoppable. As Breaking Bad progresses, the power dynamics begin to shift. Mike is gone, Jesse is out, Walt becomes more isolated, more feared, and in his eyes, more in need of someone reliable. Todd seizes this opportunity. He doesn't ask for a promotion. He doesn't make a case for why he deserves it. He simply shows up, ready to work, ready to serve. Walt teaches him how to cook meth, and Todd treats every word like a scripture. He's not trying to get rich. He's trying to impress his idol. But Walt needs more than a student. He needs someone willing to do what others won't, and Todd is perfectly suited for that role. When Walt decides that the remaining members of Gus Fring's operation, 9 men and a lawyer, need to be eliminated before they can testify, it's Todd who connects Walt to his Uncle Jack, the leader of a ruthless neo-Nazi gang. Todd isn't just a foot soldier anymore. He's a bridge to real power, a trusted operator, a man with connections. And with that one introduction, he escalates the violence of Walt's empire to an entirely new level. Uncle Jack's crew carries out the prison murders in a coordinated 2-minute bloodbath. All 9 men are killed simultaneously across multiple facilities. It's clean, efficient, untraceable, and Todd watches it all unfold with admiration, not horror. There's no hesitation, no disgust, just another job well done. After Walt retires from the meth business, Todd becomes the de facto cook for Lydia's international distribution ring. At first, he struggles. The product isn't blue like Walt's signature meth, and Lydia begins to lose confidence.
Where's the blue? Does it come later, when this hardens? Where is it?
Really sorry about the color.
Todd is embarrassed, not because he failed morally, but because he's disappointed someone he wants to impress. So he tries harder, learns more, perfects his formula, and in the background, the bodies keep piling up. When Lydia attempts to broker a deal with another meth crew run by a man named Declan, Todd watches closely. Declan refuses to work with Todd, says his product isn't good enough. The deal falls through, so Todd has Jack and his gang murder Declan and his entire crew.
I don't want to see.
You could just close your eyes.
You kidding me with this?
Okay.
It's not business, it's personal. Not because Todd feels insulted, but because Lydia doubted him, and Todd can't handle disappointing someone he views as important. This is where Todd's pathology becomes crystal clear. He doesn't have his own internal compass. He operates based on external feedback. If someone he respects wants violence, he obliges. If they want reassurance, he gives it. If they want someone dead, Todd doesn't blink. This isn't just moral disengagement, it's identity erasure. Todd has no moral self. He has no personal ideology. He becomes whatever his superiors need him to be. That includes a torturer. When Jesse is captured after trying to bring Walt down, Uncle Jack wants him executed. But Todd, in his own twisted way, sees value in Jesse, not as a person, but as a tool. Jesse knows how to cook meth, and Todd doesn't want him dead yet, so he persuades Jack to keep Jesse alive.
Hey, Uncle Jack, he was out here with those feds. He had to have told them some stuff that might not be too good for us. And I bet we could get it out of him back home. I mean, I could do it. And then, we'd take care of the job after that.
They beat him, enslave him, chain him up in the lab like an animal. And when Jesse resists or underperforms, Todd doesn't shout or strike. He smiles. He offers ice cream. However, when Jesse tried to escape, Todd captured him again and murdered Jesse's ex-girlfriend, Andrea.
You're Andrea, right?
How is Jesse? Is he okay?
Actually, I brought him with me.
Jesse's here?
Yeah, he's right over there in that truck.
No!
Just so you know, this isn't personal.
With absolute callousness, he tells Andrea that this isn't personal and takes her life. This completely breaks Jesse, but all Todd does is gently remind him that her son is still alive, but he's only safe if Jesse continues to cooperate. This isn't brute force, it's psychological conditioning, a blend of threats and rewards, punishment and comfort, pain and kindness. Todd doesn't need to control Jesse physically, he controls his soul.
On the way home, I was gonna get us some pizza, maybe a 6-pack of beer. Does that sound good? Because you earned it today. You definitely did. What kind of pizza do you like, Jesse?
And all the while, Todd continues to act like everything is normal. He chats with Lydia over tea, flirts awkwardly, tells her the meth is now at 92% purity. He speaks softly, offers compliments, plays the role of a polite businessman. But under that soft voice is a man who's buried bodies, executed witnesses, orchestrated massacres, and emotionally broken another human being, all in service of people he wanted to please, people he wanted to smile at him and say good job. This is the essence of Todd Alquist, not a man of power, but a man who will do anything, and I mean anything, to be needed. By the time El Camino begins, Walter White is gone, the empire has fallen, the king is dead. But in the shadows of that collapse, we finally get a deeper, more personal look at the man who was always lurking in the background, not commanding armies, not making speeches, but quietly doing the dirtiest work of them all. In a series of flashbacks, we see Jesse Pinkman, freshly captured, bloodied and broken, forced to live as a chained slave in Jack's compound. His only role is to cook meth for the gang, but his handler isn't a guard or a gangster, it's Todd, and Todd treats Jesse like a pet. He brings him out to cook, feeds him, talks to him, offers him small comforts when he performs well, and even takes him out the cage for a field trip, not out of mercy, but because he needs help hiding a body. That body belongs to Sonia, Todd's cleaning lady, a harmless, elderly woman who discovered his hidden drug money by accident.
What did she do to you? What? Oh, she didn't do anything to me.
So your cleaning lady was stealing your money?
What? No. She was as honest as the day is long. But she found it, and I can't have anybody finding it.
For most people, this would be a moment of crisis, fear, guilt, regret. For Todd, it was just a problem. He calmly strangles her, then invites Jesse to help dispose of the body. He talks about pizza, paint colors, holiday decorations. This is where Todd's psychology crystallizes into something truly inhuman. It's not just that he kills, it's how he kills. He doesn't dehumanize his victims to make it easier, like most killers do. He recognizes them as people and just kills them anyway, with a smile, with a compliment, with soup and soda and soft jazz playing in the background. It's compartmentalization to the extreme, the mental ability to place acts of horrific violence in one psychological box and warmth and hospitality in another. And for Todd, those boxes never touch. He can bury a corpse in the desert and then compliment Jesse's work ethic in the same breath. He's so detached from normal emotional processes that nothing feels real to him. Not death, not suffering, not trauma. He's not a sadist, he doesn't enjoy pain, but that's exactly why he's more terrifying. He kills not because he's angry, not because he's driven by hate, but because he sees no reason not to. Sonia was a risk, Drew Sharp was a witness, Andrea was leverage. These are not people to Todd, they're variables, and variables get solved. The only time Todd ever seems genuinely affected is when he feels rejected, when Lydia distances herself, when Walt refuses to cook, when Jesse looks at him with hatred instead of gratitude. Todd doesn't need love. He doesn't even seem to understand it, but he needs acceptance. He needs to be useful. That's the root of his psychosis. He doesn't kill to conquer, he kills to belong. And when he does finally die, strangled by Jesse during the climax of El Camino, he doesn't beg or scream or fight back. He looks confused, as if the concept that someone might hate him enough to kill him has never occurred to him. But because in his mind, he's not a villain, he's a helper, a good employee, a loyal soldier, a friend, and that's what makes him so chilling. Not the violence, not the body count, but the unwavering normalcy with which he wears it all. Todd Alquist is not the most violent man in the Breaking Bad universe, but he is, without question, the most dangerous, because he doesn't kill out of hate, He kills out of obedience, and he'll smile while doing it.